change is just really hard for me. Every 2 seconds I'm crying. Where did we leave off? Hello guys, it's Bimpe. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I realized that I think at this point, this is like a yearly occurrence. Every year / every couple of months, I decide that I need to make some sort of return to YouTube. But my chat is, I only feel like documenting really important stuff, which doesn't really make sense because I feel like there's so much that happens in my life. But yeah, I think this is gonna be your first time, if you only follow me on YouTube, seeing my Cape Town apartment, which I am leaving. So this video is going to be first and foremost an apartment tour because I freaking love my apartments. I'm going to tell you kind of how I got this apartment in the first place because A, finding an apartment in Cape Town is impossible, and quite frankly it is the work of like the universe, the lords, the angels that got me this apartment because I was caught to being homeless in Cape Town for the second time. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a life update, how I found my apartment, and kind of what is next. So if you are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Bimpe. I'm 24 years old and I currently live in Cape Town. I've lived here for 2 years. If you've been here before, what's good? So where have I been? Basically, I moved to Cape Town 2 years ago now. I moved here in the beginning of 2023 because I was doing my master's. My master's program is now done. I am finished with my master's. It's submitted. It's currently being examined at the University of Cape Town. Masters is no joke. Mind you, I was doing my master's while working full time. So there was a lot going on. Last year was also really crazy because I had like a bit of emotional turmoil going on. I was a little bit depressed. I cut my hand. I had to have surgery. All while I was doing school, I was still doing work. It was a mission. But yeah, my master's program, I can't believe it. I'm gonna try really hard not to cry in this video, but my eyes are really watering. My master's paper is done. So for context, I applied for my master's thinking that it's going to be a 1-year program because I did my undergrad in honors at Wits. And at Wits, it's very common for people to do a master's program in a year and submit the following year. I applied to UCT, I got accepted. When it was time for registration, they were like, you can't do your coursework and your research in 1 year. If you really want special permission, you can get it and do it in 1 year, but that's not very common and they really wouldn't recommend it because the coursework's so strenuous. And then I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna do it in 1.5 years because then I can start my research in the second year, do my interviews, have it done, ready to submit interviews, research, everything, 6 months. Y'all, life showed me when you have plans, the world will laugh at you. Because first of all, there's just a lot of like procedural things at the university that to get past, like ethics and then finding research participants, getting your proposal approved, getting like submitting your memorandum of understandings, getting ethical approval, all of that stuff that is out of your control, no matter how diligently you work, takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. Like you have to be very thorough in doing it. Otherwise you can get all the way to the end of doing your paper and doing your work and realize that something was wrong that you should have paid more attention to in the beginning maybe. So yeah, between the early, maybe like till March last year, the first like 3 months of last year, I was doing ethics stuff. And then in March, April, I started doing my interviews. I had trouble finding participants. And then UCT took away their September graduation last year, but apparently now it's back. So my supervisor now basically like, well, there's not really a point in submitting so early if you're only gonna graduate in March anyway. Long story short, I end up writing. Every time I thought I was done, there was more to be done. Yeah, but the paper's done now. Back to the point. Last year we were working on our paper. The apartment, my apartment. So if you watch my last video on this channel from literally a year ago, which is my last apartment tour, you will see that finding an apartment in Cape Town is, yeah, very, very scary. So when I was leaving my old apartment, my landlord basically like absolutely screwed me over. They wanted to increase my rent by like 4,500 rand, and they were like, no, we actually wanted to increase it by 7,000 rand. But you know, mind you, my contract said that the most that they could increase it if I wanted to stay a second year was 1,500 rand. And I wanted to sign on for a year and a half because that's how long I thought I would be here when I first signed the lease. And the real estate agent discouraged me, and he was like, no, come stay for a year, see if you like it, and then change. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then when it was time for me to extend it, they were like, oh no, you want to increase it? I was like, oh well, this is nice. So I'm back on the hunt for an apartment beginning of last year, right? I'm looking everywhere. I couldn't find anything. Everything's too expensive. Real estate agents here suck. It's an absolute shit show. Mind you, I stay by myself, and I love living by myself. Oh my god, I lived by myself for a year at this point, and I was like, I'm about to be homeless. Like, let me humble myself. I post on Instagram story, I'm like, yo guys, like, I think I was like 2 weeks away from being homeless at this point. I'm like, besties over on Instagram, like, if anybody knows of anyone looking for a roommate in Cape Town, or knows of anyone that's like finishing their lease, like what's happening, let me know. I'm about to be homeless. So then people were replying to my Instagram stories, check here, did you try this? Everyone is so helpful. Oh my god. Everyone was like, did you try this? Can you try checking this person? Oh, I have this friend, let me ask them. That was a beautiful moment. People were so willing to help, like really warmed my heart. So I was going through all of those options, like contacting the people looking for roommates, that kind of stuff. The problem was also that I don't have furniture. So I was looking for a studio 1-bedroom apartment that was furnished in Cape Town that I could have at that time for 6 months, because I thought that I would be done by September. That was kind of my plan in my head, to be done with my paper by September. And it needed to be furnished. It was only for 6 months. So a lot of people that were looking for roommates and stuff were like, I kind of want a roommate that I'll have for at least a year. I kind of have my furniture if you don't have furniture. And like, you know, just conversations, but nothing was really gelling. And then I get a message from this person that I knew. I had met while I was out one night, very casually, and I literally went out on like a solo mission to Caprice, and I was there, I was meeting people, talking, blah blah blah, and then I met this person while I was out, and we exchanged contact details, and they are from an overseas country, and they were like, hey, I have my apartment in the city center that I stay in while I'm here. I usually rent it out on Airbnb and stuff, or like to people for short-term let while I'm gone. If you like, what's your budget? If you'd like, you're welcome to stay there. You can pay me rent. It saves me from dealing with like Airbnb people and all that stuff. And I was like, how fucking yes, I want it. Yes, please send me the contract. Mind you, I had met this person one time. Very nice person. Like, we got along very well, but we were essentially strangers. And they were like, yeah, the apartment is literally yours if you want it. Mind you, there was maybe 2 other apartments that real estate agents had shown me that I had applied for that I'd basically gotten, like, but I didn't like the apartments. The one was in Woodstock. I didn't mind the actual apartment, but I really didn't love the area. And the other one was in the city center, but in like a really dingy corner of it. And I was like, I'm gonna get murdered getting an Uber here, kind of in both places. So like, I was quarter to being like, you know what guys, Cape Town, it's been good, I'm moving back to Joburg. Because, okay, worst case scenario, I do my interviews all online. I speak to my supervisor, finish my paper online. Did I really want to move home? No, because I obviously wasn't ready. I was here to finish a thing that I was not finished with. So it would have been very hard, but yeah, so I speak to this person that I met that was like, my apartment is yours if you want it. And I was like, yeah, when can I move in? They were like, not the 1st of March because there's somebody staying there, but on the 3rd, I think. They literally sent me like a lease agreement that was like a Google, like a Word document. They signed it, I signed it, I paid the deposit. I didn't even go see the apartments. They sent me the Airbnb link. I looked at it and I was like, good enough for me. And then my angst started setting in. So I literally paid the deposit, I signed the lease, and I was like, okay, if anything, I know this person, I know people that know this person. Like, there will be some sort of accountability if this apartment doesn't exist. Like, what if I'm getting scammed right now? Mind you, if you watch my last apartment tour video where I talk about when I first moved to Cape Town, I literally got scammed out of a month of accommodation and was essentially homeless. So I was really not trying to be homeless again. The month goes by, I pack up my old apartment and I booked an Airbnb in the same building as my current apartment because I saw like the fixtures were the same. So I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna stay in this Airbnb in the apartment building. That way on the day I can just move all my stuff into the apartment. I hadn't seen the apartment, and then I get to my Airbnb in this building and it's on kind of like the other side of the building, and I don't like the apartment. So I started panicking. Not that it wasn't a good apartment, it just was a fine apartment for an Airbnb. I just couldn't see myself living there. So I panicked. I was panicking. I was spiraling. I stayed there for 3 days, and then on the day where I was supposed to move into this apartment, this current apartment, my landlord, shout out, oh my gosh, what a beautiful, beautiful human. My landlord was literally like, okay, the people have left, the cleaner is going to be there during the day, you can go drop off your stuff, the keys downstairs, have fun. So I wake up bright and early, I start taking my load, they tell me the apartment number, I go to the apartment, and I walk in and I'm like, ow, this all you right here, damn. First of all, thank God the apartment exists, but I also just liked it. I was like, okay, it's nicer than the apartment I was staying in on the other side of the building, which is already a plus, very happy. And it was just overall a really nice apartment, and that is how I found my apartment. So after like 2 months of real estate agents, Facebook groups, Instagram, talking to people, everything, like finding this apartment was a gift from the heavens. Like I cannot for the life of me, every time I think about how close I was to not having an apartment, and the way the one time I went out and I randomly met the one person that 3 months later ended up being like my saving grace, is so wild to me. And like, wow, I truly believe that if you put good out towards the world, and if you're a good person, good people will come back to you. And I think this is such a perfect example of this. So yes, that is how I got my apartment. Okay, let me get into the apartment details. It is in the city center. I believe it's technically in Foreshore. It's a pretty nice apartment building. It has a nice rooftop. There's windows all alongside, which I'll show you just now. It is kind of like a flex 1 bedroom. Behind here is my bed and like my cupboards and stuff over there. Yeah, and it is just perfect. It's perfect for one person. And funny enough, like I said, the original lease I signed was for 6 months. I was supposed to leave in September. That was like the deal. And then in September, I wasn't done with my master's paper because, yeah, I just had like delays and stuff. And I was supposed to go on a trip that ended up being cancelled. So the one day my landlord comes over and they're like, yo, so like, are you still leaving in September? Because it would be great if you stayed. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're so funny, because I was literally going to ask you if I could stay. And they were like, yeah, you can stay. Let's extend. We extended it for 6 more months. And during that time, funny enough, they put the apartment on sale. So while I was here in the last few months, there were people coming to view the apartment to sell it. They made sure to tell me that no, if any like change of ownership happens, you will stay in this apartment. You are not being kicked out of your lease for the 6 months that you're here. Yeah, the apartment is sold as well. I think it's sold in the last couple of months. And I am moving back home to Joburg. I'm moving back home to Joburg this weekend. I cannot believe that I've lived in Cape Town for 2 years. Yo, what a time. So, reasons for moving back to Joburg. A, my job's in Joburg. My in-person job that I've worked at for 3 years. The deal was actually with my boss that I'll be going to do my master's for 1 year. Then it was a year and a half. And then when I saw them in December, my boss was like, darling, when are you coming back? Like, you need to come back. And I was like, I'm coming back. Like, that was the plan. And I can't believe that paper is submitted as well. I think that's crazy. It was a really tough, long time coming. Fingers crossed, I'll be graduating in September. I freaking love Cape Town. I could say it. Like, when I first moved here, it took me maybe about 8 months to adapt to living here and actually feel like I had a life here. The first year I lived here, I feel like I would take any opportunity to go back home to Joburg and be back home and miss back home. But I think that in the second year of living here, I really found like a life here and a routine here and incredible incredible people here. And it is a beautiful city, but there's also things about the city that piss me off. So I think that one of my reasons for not necessarily staying and being like, okay, cool, it's time to move back to Joburg, is I think that Cape Town is a beautiful place to stay, but I'm not 100% sure that this is my city that I want to stay in, right? So I think that there's a lot of beauty and love and like rose-colored glasses I have for Cape Town, because this was my first time moving away from home. In uni, I stayed at home, I went to school, I went back home. My honors, I stayed at home, I went to uni, I went back home. My first year working, I was at home. This was my first time really moving away and living by myself, and oh my god, like Cape Town was the perfect playground to do that. But when I lived in Joburg, I was a Johannesburg girl. Like, Joburg injected in my veins. So I think that even though I feel like I really became an adult in Cape Town, I moved here when I was 22. I'm going to be 25 like in a few months, in like 3 months. Don't get me started. So I feel like I've changed a lot as a person, and I think that I owe Joburg the chance to be that city for me, because I truly always thought growing up that Joburg was going to be my city. So it's not like I'm leaving Cape Town because I don't like it here. I'm leaving because I don't know that this is the place I want to be forever. And if I stay here, I think genuinely if I stayed here another year, I would not leave. It is a beautiful, beautiful place to get stuck. I'm really stressed out about moving back to Joburg, just because I feel like a lot of my life has changed here. I'm a completely different person. My friends' lives have gone on, they've changed. Like, I know that there are people there that love me and are going to be very happy to have me back, and I'm very happy to be close to them again. But there is a whole world of people here. Like, my heart is going to exist here now that I'm going to be leaving. And also, change is just really hard for me. Change is quite difficult for me. I'm really bad at goodbyes. I'm really bad at changing routines. Moving across the country is quite difficult. Back to the point. I love Cape Town. Joburg feels like it needs a moment. I always said, I'm like, Cape Town's not going anywhere. And I keep telling my friends, I will be back. You want me back? It's a 2-hour flight. I know that I will be back all the time. And that the friendships that I've cultivated here, they've just like begun to foster. There's so many things that are still in store for me, for my friends, but it is going to be like a absolutely mind-boggling change for me. So yeah. Oh, you know when you feel the tears in your nose. Yeah, so that is the end of my time in Cape Town. I'm still currently looking for an apartment in Joburg. Also, I keep freaking crying. Like, every 2 seconds I'm crying. Like, I've cried 3 times today. I've been fighting with real estate agents in Joburg for like a month. The real estate agents in Joburg aren't better. Since like August last year, low-key, I've been thinking about this move from Cape Town to Joburg. And I will say, for the furnished apartments I'm looking for, it's like something similar, a 1-bedroom furnished apartments in Joburg, like somewhere central, so I can be close to work. And there's just not as many furnished apartments in Joburg, and the furnished apartments there aren't as nice, because in Cape Town, Airbnb, Digital Nomad Central, there's a lot of furnished apartments. They're pretty expensive. You're gonna spend your whole arse and titties on a new apartment, but there's a lot of them. In Joburg, there's not as many. The furnished apartments kind of feel like someone was living there. They just decided to like up and leave. This is my little time capsule for my life right now, for the beautiful city of Cape Town. Yeah, dog. It's going to be a time. That is such a long intro, but let me get into my apartment tour. Okay, I wish I had filmed this a little bit earlier in the day, but it's fine because the lighting is beautiful at this time. But this is the apartment. Same as last time, you can basically see the whole thing from where I'm standing, but you walk in. And this is my kitchen. Like I said, the apartment comes pretty furnished, but all the like artsy and decor stuff, that's all mine. Over there is the living room area. There's my little reading nook, my terrible little bar. And then you get into the bedroom, but let's start with the kitchen. So this is my kitchen. There's really not that much going on. I will say, I think in this apartment, I have quite frankly never cooked less. Also, it is very windy outside, so just work with that. The cabinets are up there. This is my microwave. These are my dying flowers. Not much I'll show you. The stove's lacquer, and I never quite figured out how to use the oven here. So yeah, love this kettle. Love these, like these glasses. I think they're supposed to be on that side actually. These glasses I got from Pep Home. All of these little glasses I love so much. I have like 3 of each. Are glasses that I thrifted. That is a painting that I painted. It's super cute. And that is one of those sequiny things. Amira did that for me. There's the stove, and I'll give you like a little glimpse of what's in my fridge. To be fair, my fridge kind of has a lot going on right now. This isn't the standard because I just had my going away picnic the other day, so I have a lot of leftovers. Always a lot of drinks. I drink a lot. Always an energy drink. Always a homemade iced tea. Sparkling water. Green juice that I made that I love. It has cucumber, lemon, and ginger. Tonic water, wine, champagne. I promise. Like, this whole fridge is basically drinks. I always have cucumber in my fridge. It's basically all I eat. Some pineapple, some stew, and a frozen pizza. Moving on to the living area, but before the light goes away, I just want to show you how freaking insane the view of Table Mountain is from here. Like, this is the view from my apartment. Mind you, Cape Town wind is going crazy right now. Also, that construction right there has been killing me for about 6 months. I can't wait to leave it. But yeah, the view of the mountain goes kind of hard. This is my living room area. These are my little couch cushions. My tiny freaking TV. Every single time somebody comes over, they always say how small my TV is. And I'm like, literally, what am I supposed to do? And then here is the reading nook that I wish I used more. My humidifier because I get allergies. And all of my little plants. And yeah, this is what the apartment looks like around this time at sunset. And this is like the background for all of my videos. I'm forever sitting on this couch. This couch is my office. This couch is my living room. This couch is my therapy room. This is my crying couch. Everything happens there. One thing I think I prefer in this apartment as opposed to my older one. In my old apartment, that like kitchen area was basically just along the one wall. Like the stove, the sink, and all the cabinets was all along the one wall. Whereas with this one, I definitely have more space. There's also a lot more seating space. Not that I ever have people over. So there is the bath chairs over there, the reading nook over here, and there's obviously our trusted couch. I think a lot of Cape Town apartment places get away with calling studios 1 bedroom. Like, this is technically a 1 bedroom. Do you see a wall? However, they get away with it because there's this really cute fluted glass. And one thing about me, I really enjoy being in a 1 bedroom as opposed to a studio because I work from home, so I literally cannot be looking at my bed the whole day. I think I would die. So yeah, this is the lounge, and now we are going to go into my cupboard and my bedroom. It is crazy how long I can take to film a tiny little apartment tour. Going around from the kitchen and living room to the I don't know, I think so this apartment technically has like a dedicated working space. I don't work here because there's no back support, but that is another little painting I did. I freaking love it. My sister makes fun of me because she says the thumb on this is crazy. I do not know how I'm going to transport this stuff. Like, for example, this thing is so heavy. But yeah, I love this decorative little table. It makes a nice background for all my meetings and stuff. And I tend to just stare out the window. From the windows to the table, you have my cupboard. I'll turn on the lights, but we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this because this is probably as neat as this cupboard gets. It is a war zone. And then this is my calendar. This one is for 2024, so I actually need to get a new one. But I really need to have a fat visual calendar so that I can put things on it. I'm not even the best at putting things on it like as the days go by. I need to be able to look at like my month at the very least, all at once. So yeah, that is my cupboard. It's a lot of cupboard space, I will say. This is my little bedroom. Not much to see here. I forgot, actually, now that I'm looking at it, that I hung up these leaves and I'll have to take them down, which is not gonna be fun. But yeah, pretty standard bed. My suitcases are over there. They usually chill like up there somewhere. I really love the artwork that the owners put in here. Like, I don't get to take these with me, but I will definitely be looking for something similar. Same for that one over there and that one over there. The green paint on this apartment is kind of iconic, but because when I'm here by myself, the apartment, the bathroom's always open. So this is the bathroom. Not much to see. I've got my eucalyptus up there. There's the shower and all my shower stuff. There's the mirror and there's me. I really truly wish that I had like super aesthetic organized going on here by my counter, but to be fair, this counter is always a mess. And do not get me started on what goes on in that drawer. This cosmetic stand, all my makeup's usually on there. A lot of it's not in there right now because I didn't get ready there today. Life-saving. I freaking love that thing. I want 10 of them and I give it to everyone as a gift as I can. And that is the apartment. It's the whole thing. Oh my goodness. No, guys, I'm gonna miss it so much. One last view of the wind. Like, how freaking crazy is that? That is my little apartment tour. This is my little time capsule. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yeah, I don't know. I think I've spent 2 years only posting once a year. So I don't know when the next video is gonna be up. But thank you for sitting and chatting with me. It's been great to catch up. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up. If you have struggled looking for apartments or are currently looking for apartments, leave a comment down below. I think we're all in this hectic little bowl of life and we're all just trying to do our very best. So, you know, be gentle with yourself. And yeah, like, subscribe if you want other videos. Maybe let me know, like, I don't know, maybe if you have a good idea, I'll do it. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.